and MLB. Now, as I said to you earlier, Boston beat the Knicks last night, which this was a couple of weeks ago. I would say it's bullshit. Doesn't matter. Basketball players don't start playing till about January, February anyway. It's all a farce. People aren't watching, which is how I feel about the NBA right now. I feel the NBA is at a crossroads right now in what they got going on. They need more eyes on their product. And for them to get more eyes on their product, they have to do some shit. Now, first, I'll talk about some unrealistic stuff that I heard the other day. Unrealistic people saying, which sounds like a really good idea, but there's too much money involved and there's too much with the stats involved. Give them 2 20-minute halves, 40-minute games, like college, 2 20-minute halves. Okay. That's going to make them play harder. That's going to lessen up on the days they need to rest. So I can't, get that in my head right now what that's actually called, but it's going to maybe put a product on the court that says, okay, got some rest, go full bore for 20 minutes, chill out, then we come back out. They play 48 minutes, and it's just like, everybody says they're tired and they don't start playing till then. Okay, maybe 60-game season, 2 20-minute halves, and then you go from there. That's going to create more buzz. That's going to create more plays. That's going to create more players not being as tired. That's unrealistic. I get it. They're not going to lessen the amount of games, and they're not going to lessen the amount of times that these superstars are on the court. That is one thing that somebody said the other day that might be able to put more eyes on the court. Another thing that's going to put more eyes on the court is the fact that this trade deadline was the craziest trade deadline ever in the history of the NBA. You guys could say that there's been trades in the past. I mean, I understand, but listen, like I say, the 90s and 80s players are the toughest players and the best players ever. Michael Jordan, greatest player ever. This is by far the craziest thing that's ever happened in the NBA. Okay. And it's not the fact that Jimmy Butler got traded to Golden State. One thing I got to say about that, Steph Curry to me is one of the greatest players. He's a gentleman, never done anything wrong. He's got championships, MVPs. He's the man. I don't know how he is going to get along with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has been known to cause some infighting on his teams. Jimmy Butler's been known to get mad and just not play. Jimmy Butler's been known to be a little lazy. But when Jimmy Butler's on, he could torch you for 40. He could torch you with 6 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. So Jimmy Butler and Golden State, that marriage, I don't know how it's going to last. So I don't know what's going to do for the Golden State Warriors. But Steph Curry, don't worry about it, brother. Your legacy is there. And I do put you in the same breath as LeBron James as the greatest player of this generation. I am not going to let LeBron James take that thunder out of your mouth because you played on just a higher level as that man did over there in LA. So Steph Curry, don't worry about it, brother. We'll see what happens. Let Jimmy Butler take his shots. Talk to him. Golden State, you never know. Doesn't look like you're making the playoffs now, but hey, you might make a run. But there was a trade between the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Lakers that could only be considered as what the fuck. That trade came out one day and said, I don't know, maybe you think about it, the way this trade went down. And this is the kind of like the shadiness of it. Now, if Jason Tatum was going to get traded for Anthony Edwards, let's just make that trade, make that Luka for AD. I don't think that's a good comparison for AD and Anthony Edwards, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. I think if Jason Tatum was going to be traded to Minnesota for Anthony Edwards, and that trade might happen, I think that would have gotten out. I think somebody would be like, holy shit, Boston's looking to get rid of Tatum. Minnesota's looking to get rid of Anthony Edwards. That's how it kind of was in the past. I mean, Anthony Edwards said it blatantly the other day. He's like, this trade between the Lakers and the Mavericks puts everybody on blast. And what I mean, everybody on blast is 2 superstar basketball players were traded. One of them supposedly had an attitude, and the other was like, what the fuck happened? So by Anthony Edwards saying that, by every player, putting everybody on blast means people should watch it, because if an owner or a GM gets tired of your shit, or maybe thinks that you're a little too much to handle, or maybe you're just a wimp and you don't know how to fight back, so you could use your power to get rid of them. You get where I'm going with this, right? you could be traded too. And at the end of the day, there's conspiracy theories, there's stuff that actually happened. But what did happen was Luka Doncic was traded for Anthony Davis. Now, anybody out there that's trying to tell me that, A, that's an even trade. Star power, you might say maybe they're both stars, but in no way, shape, or form is that an even trade. There's people out there trying to say that Anthony Davis makes the Mavericks better because of his defense. Maybe Jason Kidd needed somebody to play defense because he's already got Kyrie. Kyrie could take over a game. Dallas is the team that maybe needed a defensive player. They needed somebody to come back on defense all the time. They needed a big man. Maybe that's what they said. Maybe they said that Luka was too big of a star. Maybe they needed somebody that was a little less of a star. Maybe they wanted somebody older, which would make no sense. This trade to me makes absolutely no sense. Luka Doncic is the top 3 best players in the NBA right now as we speak. Gets hurt every once in a while. He's been known to be out of shape. He's been known to drink a little bit. Maybe he's been known to party. But I'll tell you one thing. He is one of the greatest players that I've watched play basketball in a very, very long time. He's exciting. He's got a good personality. He puts the team on his back. This guy is from Slovenia. This guy's from a place where these guys play basketball all the time. Basketball is huge. And to make it out of Slovenia, come to the NBA and be the man. Not only is Luka Doncic one of the best players in the NBA, people might say he is the best player in the NBA if it wasn't for that freak over there in Denver. Because I'll tell you right now, Jokic, he's going to figure out one day how to make a deca double, make any sense, or a septa double, because he does everything. I mean, I could talk about him all day long, but right now we're focusing on Luka. Okay. I love watching Luka play. I love watching Luka jaw with the fans. I love watching Luka have fun with his teammates. There are times when he looks a little slow because you know what, though? Yeah, he's getting a little fat. But that same guy will shoot the lights out. That night he scored 60 against the Knicks. Might have been one of the greatest basketball games I've ever seen. Luka Doncic is a superstar basketball player with superstar talent that was eligible this year for something that they call a max contract. Now, I'm going to tell you in a minute why that's important. Luka Doncic was ready to make $345 million from the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I don't know about you, and probably for a lot of owners, $345 million to invest in a basketball player for the amount of time that he was being invested in is a lot of money. Not if you're 25 years old. Not if you have your entire career ahead of you. Not if you probably have 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 years and 8 great years left. He was all ready to say yes to that contract. Anthony Davis, don't know where his head was at. Anthony Davis, I don't know if maybe he thought maybe he'd be traded somewhere. I don't know, because you're a human being. You got to know something's going on in that locker room. There's got to be some kind of air. Maybe LeBron was treating you a little differently. I don't know. And that's another thing we go into conspiracy theories. Under no circumstances do I think that LeBron James didn't know about that trade. You know, I could be funny here and say, he says he was out to dinner with his family, but he was out to dinner with his family. Maybe the earpiece was in his ear, and Adam Silver, comes up. It's done, sir. LeBron James nods his head, wipes his mouth, and just continues on his dinner with his family, saying he doesn't know anything. Find it hard to believe that it's like the way I just said it, which is probably not the way it happened, but I do find it hard to believe that he didn't know anything about this trade. I find it easy to believe that LeBron this year is playing very well for somebody who's 40 years old. He's playing at a very high level. And he watched Anthony Davis just slowly decline. He's watched him sit out games in the playoffs. He's watched him, maybe able to go one night, maybe not be able to go the other night. Now, regardless of what I feel about LeBron James as a person, regardless if I feel about his comparison to Michael Jordan, I'm going to look at LeBron James right now as one of the most devastating one of the most strongest, one of the most toughest players in the game right now that can literally, at the drop of a hat, do anything if he really wanted to and put his mind to it. He's a beast. He's strong. He's a physical specimen who just makes other basketball players at times look like little kids. Maybe he was sick and tired of AD bitching and complaining about how his big toe hurts, or complaining about his calf, or complaining maybe his shoulder, or complaining maybe that his pussy hurts. Maybe he was just in a roundabout way pissed off about that. And LeBron, maybe being a kind of guy that doesn't do anything face to face and say, "Man up, don't be a pussy." Like, oh yeah, yeah, I know, dog. And then like, yeah, bro, Nico, we gotta get rid of this guy. Now, I just said somebody's name, Nico Harrison. Now, all that stuff I just told you about why Anthony Davis got traded probably didn't happen. Just me speculating. It's just me making a story. It's just me being sarcastic. I don't know what happened. Nobody knows what happened. The only one that knows what happened is Luka and Anthony Davis. And I don't even think they know the full extent of it. A couple weeks ago, Nico Harrison, GM of the Dallas Mavericks, has coffee with Rob Pelinka. Might just seem like a normal everyday coffee, and you look a little deeper. Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison know each other like 20 years. They're boys. Used to hang out together. Used to party together. They were friends, straight up friends. It's not like the GM and the Cavs and maybe the GM for the Knicks. Maybe they get together for coffee, because they want to discuss some kind of business or they want to discuss something else. These guys are boys, okay? In a joking way, Nico Harrison says, "Ha ha ha! Why don't we make a trade? Ha ha ha! That would be funny." So you know how you are when you talk to your friends. I'm sure the conversation was, listen, Luka's been giving me such a headache, man. I don't know what to do with this guy. Rob's like, oh, listen, I will definitely take him off your hands. He's like, we got an aging LeBron that might be gone in a year or two. And Luka, if somebody could control him, he's the future star. He'll be a star in LA. It's like, why not? It's like, oh, come on. We can't trade Luka. It's like the fans will go crazy. It's like, yeah, but you can. It's like, yeah, it's like, the ownership group really isn't too happy, because they're really not going to be able to get their way, with this casino that they want to build. So, all right. So, listen, Nico, let's get some kind of trade. We're not going to tell anybody else, but just make off like thieves in the night. I mean, obviously, we got to kind of let LeBron know in some kind of facet what he's going to be losing and what he's going to be gaining, but let's do it. It's like, all right, whatever, we'll see. Fast forward, Nico Harris and Jason Kidd are sitting there in a press conference. It happened the night before. Everybody, including NBA players, NBA coaches, NBA GMs, and NBA fans alike, are flabbergasted. They are so taken off by this trade. They're so taken about that nobody knew about it. Even the people that are in the know didn't know. This trade just happened. Shady number one. Shady number one was nobody else knew. You're going to tell me that nobody else could have put in a package together to get Luka Doncic? You're going to tell me that nobody in the NBA would have loved to have the top three best players in the NBA right now? You're going to tell me that nobody else could have put a better package together? I'm saying that probably could have happened. No, yeah, shady, because I think Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison, I think that they made a shady deal over a cup of coffee, and that just is what it is. Nobody's ever going to find out. Then we go to step two of this conversation I'm trying to have here. This press conference, Nico Harrison sitting right next to Jason Kidd. Everybody knows Jason Kidd. Everybody knows Jason Kidd as a player. Amazing point guard, gritty, hard nose. We all know about his checkered past. He's been arrested for domestic abuse. He's been drunk driving, 2012 out in the Hamptons, remarried. We don't really know much about what's going on with his personal life right now. All I know is he knew the day before this press conference that he had the number 3 best player in the NBA. This best player in the NBA took us to the NBA Finals last year, where we lost to an amazingly well-coached and amazingly hungry Boston Celtics team, beat the Dallas Mavericks last year in the NBA championship, and Luka had everything, if not everything, to do with that. He clawed back. He took the game over. He taunted the fans. He fought with the fans. He taunted the refs. He put up points. He played defense. He did every single thing possible to win that NBA championship. And when asked why, he said he could have done more. Jason Kidd just lost that. And Nico Harrison said to everybody that was listening to that press conference everybody that's a fan of the Dallas Mavericks, everybody that's a fan of Luka, and everybody that thinks Jason Kidd is an amazing coach, an amazing player, and a good man, Nico Harrison said, I took Jason Kidd's balls and I wasn't allowing him to say anything because he might have been pissed. But I understand, and we talk all the time, and I know what he likes, and I know what kind of players that he likes. So I knew that he wouldn't have a problem with this trade going down. Now, as he's saying this, Jason Kidd is sitting there with a stare like either A, he just got pulled over by the police for DWI and he knows he's going back to jail, or C, or B, he literally wants to stab him in the neck because his manlyhood was just taken away by the GM who could barely speak over 2 octaves. Now that happened right there. I don't know how Jason Kidd felt. I don't know if he wanted Luka Doncic gone, but he couldn't have been happy with Nico Harrison saying, I knew what you were going to say anyway, so I didn't discuss it. There's not enough being said about that. There's not enough being said about what he must have felt like when his balls were taken from Nico Harrison. What must have been said between the two GMs? What must have been said from other coaches in the league that said, yo, if I knew you guys were trading Luka, I would have called you up in a second. This trade was shady from the get-go. And I mean shady because let's start last year in 2023. Now, again, I'm just saying this because it's a conspiracy theory. And I'm just saying this because there's a lot of crazy ones out there, but this one kind of makes sense. Okay. The new owners, Cuban's got nothing to do with the Dallas Mavericks anymore, guys. I don't know if I follow basketball just enough to, up until January, and then January I start paying attention to it hardcore. But I knew enough to know that Mark Cuban sold his portion of the team and still owns a very small part, and maybe, a couple of percent, to one of the largest casino Las Vegas family in the country. I don't know if you've heard of the Sands casinos, but the Adelsons, I think their name is, they are, let's just say it, one of the richest families in the entire country. They own casinos. Now, back in 2023, city of Dallas has been going through it with the ownership group. The ownership group wants to open up a destination for Dallas Mavericks fans, a destination for Cowboys fans. They want to open up Dallas Mavericks Arena attached to a casino. Great idea, right? Not so much for the city of Dallas. City of Dallas says, okay, you want to have your little basketball team, you can have your little basketball team. You want to have your football team, Jerry Jones is pushing the envelope as much as he can. You want to have your baseball teams, but we are still the state of Texas, and this is how we do shit. So you're probably not going to get your casino, but you might get your stadium, and you might get everything else, but the gaming license is going to have to wait in the state of Texas. That being said, Dallas Mavericks have a great run. Like I just said to you before, Luka is a king. Even though they lost in the championship, Luka is a king. Luka said the right things. Luka did the right things. And for lack of a better term, he almost put that team on his back and won the championship all on his own from Boston Celtics fan to, like I said before, that was well prepared and hungry. Luka put the Mavericks on his back. Worry about Kyrie because Kyrie held his own because listen, I didn't like Kyrie in the past. I was skeptical of his game. I used to think he was a little lazy, but I never said that he wasn't one of the best ball handlers. He put on a spectacle last year too. So the Luka and Kyrie show last year almost set Dallas back. When I say that, the fans would have went even more crazy. So now they're not leaving. The fans are never going to let them go. The fans are going to say, how could you take our basketball team? They just won a championship. In the back of their minds, the Dumont and the Adelsons are like, well, they're not going to let us build our casino. So you know what? Let's do something better. You guys ever see Major League? Cleveland Indians? Okay. Ownership comes in, wants to move the team. Forgot where. It's an old movie. That's a regardless. Her plan, put the worst team in baseball together, have them suck. The fans are going to hate them. Attendance is going to go down. We get to move our baseball team to wherever we want. Movie, that's the premise, but there's something to be said about that right there. The ownership group comes in and says, you know what? They love Luka so much, why don't we trade him? Okay? Nico, I know you don't like Luka. I saw you take that beer out of his hand. I see the way you talk to him. I see the way you look at him. see the maybe you don't trust him. Mark loved him, but I don't know. We're a little skeptical, and you seem a little skeptical of him. So, what if I could make this little problem go away for you guys? Maybe you do get what you want, and I get what I want. I don't like Luka, and you guys get your casino possibly. Because when the fans find out that I traded possibly the top 3 best players in basketball right now to Los Angeles for Anthony Davis, who's 31 years old, injury prone, and literally is going to be out of basketball probably in the next couple of years because his knees can't handle it, the fans will hate us. Attendance will go down. And I'll say, you know what? Attendance is down. Fans don't like us here anymore. Let's move the team to Vegas. Let's move the team to a city where casinos are everywhere. Let's move the team to a place where we could start over. Let's move the team to Las Vegas. I get my casino. I get my little basketball team that I could sell tickets for, but that's not where their money is. Their money is in casinos. Their little basketball team that they're going to have right now, that they're going to take away, that they want to take away from Dallas, that's a little investment for them. Their big money is in their casinos. So Luka Doncic, yes, he's the top 3 best player in the game right now. But, you really don't want to completely screw the guy. You really don't want to kind of, send the guy into oblivion. You really don't want to. You guys who just got on now, I've been on for the last hour and a half, dude. That's Steve. Yes, Anthony Davis is little Giancarlo Stanton. Now, I'm talking about Anthony Davis, because if you guys just got on, and Dylan, I see that you got on a couple of minutes ago. I was even actually talking about LeBron, taking everything else about him, talking about what a beast he is and how I kind of think he does know what's going on with this trade. But you guys missed that point. You have to listen to the podcast in an hour. But what I am going to say about this is Luka Doncic probably in his own head was like, holy shit, I can't believe they did this, but it could be worse. They could have sent me somewhere else. Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison said, look, Rob Pelinka says, all right, I could get him to LA. So this way he's not sent off to no man's land. It's not obvious that Nico Harrison was jealous of him. All that stuff's not obvious. Nico Harrison's, non-manly bullshit, being a little bitch behind the scenes, not going up to Luka, maybe, just him and, maybe if he does have a problem with him, talk to him man to man, because I don't see how Nico Harrison, I've been doing a little research on him. To me, he just seems like a little bitch. But Luka probably thought that, it's like, they're not going to do nothing to me. I'm Luka Doncic. They did do something to you, Luka. But you know what? They sent you to a place where you can be insanely marketable. By that, I mean you're 25, you went to LA, and if you play your cards right, LeBron's going to be gone in a year, possibly 2. LeBron's going to retire, and LeBron, and I quote, said in 2023, when it's all said and done, Dylan, you can look this up, when it's all said and done, I would like to be part of a group that would own a basketball team in the NBA in Las Vegas. So in comes the ownership group from Dallas. Ownership group from Dallas says, LeBron, Luka's taking over the city of LA, possibly Giannis maybe joining them. But you know what? You want a little piece of the puzzle over here? We'll let you buy into your dream. We're going to let you buy into a team in Vegas. Now, I see what you say right there, Dylan. He's going to own a team in Vegas. I understand it's all cute and all, and I understand that LeBron has a lot of money, but Chris Rock said it best a bunch of years ago, and Shaquille O'Neal said it best a bunch of years ago. It's like Shaquille O'Neal is rich, but the guy that signs Shaquille O'Neal's paychecks is wealthy. That's what it comes down to. LeBron could own his little portion of the team, put a couple $1 million in, but the people that are going to be calling the shots are wealthy people, okay? That's exactly what's going to happen. LeBron's going to get sick and tired of Luka getting all the, all the action, okay? And Luka is going to become an absolute mega star in LA. And needless to say, he's going to be more likable than LeBron, and he's going to jump right over LeBron because you know what? He's going to be out in LA for another 10 years probably. He's going to be spoken about like Kobe. He's going to be spoken about like Kareem, Magic, and all these other superstars. They're going to talk about Luka, and then, oh yeah, LeBron James played for this team too, but he really didn't do much for us except win a championship when it was COVID. But Luka, you brought us 3 championships. Luka, you play like Magic Johnson. You smile like Magic Johnson. We love you here. Let's extend you and let's give you a super duper max contract. So Luka is right now in a position to become one of the most marketable, one of the best, and one of the luckiest NBA players in the entire planet because he got away from an ownership group that didn't like him from the get-go because he was too big for them because they wanted to get out of there. He could be in LA where he could be a superstar, the biggest star in the country because he's got a different personality than Jokic. Jokic is in Denver. Jokic is the best player, but let's going to talk about Luka Doncic going down in history as one of the greatest players ever to play basketball. And he's going to take that Dallas Mavericks jersey off and say, listen, Mark, if you would have continued to own this team, I would have been fine. But you know what, though? Fuck you. I'm going into the Hall of Fame as a Los Angeles Laker. So bye-bye, LeBron. Hello, Luka. Luka made a good decision. Nico Harrison, you're going to be exposed as a bitch because Jason Kidd is going to walk into that room one day when you're sitting there all by yourself. You're going to say, wow, look what I just did. I got rid of my big-time headache. I got the ownership group off my ass. I got a player that could be construed as a superstar, but they're really not going to be saying that until he really stops playing and he really stops bitching and he really stops doing what everybody thought he was going to do. It's going to be too late by that time. The owners are going to want to leave and the owners are going to want to go to wherever I just said, Las Vegas. And they're just going to be sitting there. And they're just going to be the Las Vegas Mavericks. Luka's going to be in LA. And it's going to be all over. LeBron's going to go off into the sunset and own a Las Vegas basketball team. Again, Luka's going to go down in history as one of the greatest basketball players ever to play. Story over. And that story is going to end when Jason Kidd is there late one night and he sees a light on in the back office. Nico Harrison happens to be back there in the office late too, doing some writing. Who else made fun of me? Who else can I get rid of? Kyrie sometimes. Kyrie said I was a jerk the other day. Oh, Kyrie was talking shit. Maybe I could get rid of Kyrie too. Jason Kidd's going to walk into the back there and he's going to sit down. And he's going to crack a ginger ale and he's going to look at Nico Harrison. And he's going to say, if you ever, I mean ever, disrespect me in front of the United States of America, in front of all of the NBA, in front of my players, in front of my peers, in front of my family, I will stop into this office and I will beat the living shit out of you, quit, and just walk out because you pulled a bitch move on me. Don't ever say that you could think for me again, you bitch. Take a sip of his ginger ale and walk right out of the office. Because Nico Harrison, at the end of the day, you used your power because you didn't like Luka. And you might have used your power because you didn't like Jason Kidd. Because I do not, under any circumstances, seeing Jason Kidd saying, yeah, Nico, that's a great idea. Let's get rid of the best basketball player in the NBA. So that's how it's going to go down. Dallas Mavericks are going to eventually be in Las Vegas, and the LA Lakers are going to win 3 championships with Luka Doncic. And then everybody's going to say, who's LeBron? So this is going to be the end of our NBA section. I'm going to stop it here. And I'm going to do about 10 minutes on my favorite baseball team, the New York Mets. Now, I know it's Super Bowl today. I know we had a lot to talk about in the NBA, but I'll tell you right now, bold take. Think that's a good take? You think that's a bold take? Does bold mean good or bold mean bad, Dylan? Because I think that's actually pretty good. Just turned on post notifications so I don't miss the lives again. Thank you, Steve. That's what we got to do, guys. I'm what do you call it? I'm counting on you guys that are listening to me right now, and I'm going to get the podcast out later. But counting on you guys to let this podcast spread like wildfire to your college campuses.